$44.8 billion for mayonnaise. Tell me McCormick isn't overpaying.
They aren't. Read the structure, Nate. $15.7 billion in cash, the rest is paper. Unilever actually walks away with 65% of the combined company.
Which is exactly the problem. McCormick is paying a premium to hand over majority control.
Oh, come on. It's a brilliant reverse takeover in disguise.
Tell that to the antitrust watchdogs who are about to swarm the grocery aisles. The rundown?
So Danone is dropping $1 billion on Huel.
The Tech Bro meal replacement sludge?
They prefer nutritionally complete protein meal. But yes, $1 billion so Danone can corner the market on guys who code in fleece vests and forget to chew.
Honestly, it's a brilliant defensive play. Danone needs to age down their demographic. You can't survive on yogurt commercials targeting retirees forever.
$1 billion is steep for powdered oats and pea protein. I read the footnotes on Huel's growth, and they're spending an absolute fortune on customer acquisition. Danone is just buying an Instagram ad account.
They're buying a lifestyle brand, Maya. There's a massive difference in how the market values that.
I'll believe it when I see the retention metrics. Speaking of buying things, Legrand is doubling down on the data center gold rush. 2 acquisitions in one day. Keydak in China for racks and TES in Europe for power.
The classic picks and shovels strategy. Everyone else is fighting over AI chips, and Legrand is just quietly selling the metal boxes and power cords to run them.
It's smart. The infrastructure bottlenecks are real. Though integrating a Chinese manufacturing hub with a European power specialist at the exact same time sounds like an absolute operational nightmare.
I'll take an operational nightmare over what's happening in the SPAC market. Churchill Capital 9 just filed to combine with Plus Automation.
Wait, really? A SPAC? What year is it?
I know, I had to double check the date on the SEC filing. Blank check companies are apparently the cockroaches of Wall Street. You just can't kill them.
Oh, come on. Please don't insult cockroaches. At least they serve an ecological purpose.
Fair enough. Also, quick sports gossip. Rip City Rising finally grabbed a majority stake in the Portland Trailblazers.
That ends, 6 months of ownership drama?
Easily. The sports valuation bubble just keeps expanding.
Well, if you want to talk about expanding bubbles, look at Q1 2026 Biopharma. We've seen $47 billion deployed across 19 deals.
Eli, Lilly, and Merck are just walking around with open checkbooks. Lilly dropping $7.6 billion on Centessa. Merck grabbing turns for $6.74 billion.
They're desperate for new pipelines. But the real jaw dropper today isn't in pharma. It's in the grocery aisle.
Oh yes, McCormick, serving up $44.8 billion to swallow the majority of Unilever's food business.
$15.7 billion of that is cash. I've been digging through the share structure of this newly combined food giant, and the antitrust watchdogs are absolutely going to lose their minds.
I've got the pro forma financials pulled up right here. The big one. $44.8 billion for mayonnaise and bouillon cubes. I know we talk about mega deals all the time, but this McCormick and Unilever transaction is just staggering.
You stopped reading at the press release headline again, Nate? Look at the actual structure. McCormick is quote-unquote buying Unilever's food business, but who owns the combined company when the dust settles?
Unilever and its shareholders get a 65% stake.
Exactly. So, who swallowed who? McCormick is throwing $15.7 billion in cash into the pot, plus $29.1 billion in shares, but Unilever ends up holding the keys. It's a brilliant piece of corporate theater. Unilever gets to offload a slow-growth food division, take a massive cash payout, and still control the board of the new spice and mayo behemoth.
Okay, fair point. The recovering banker in me fully respects the spin, but you can't ignore the industrial logic here. McCormick absolutely dominates the spice rack. Unilever owns the condiments. You put Knorr and French's mustard in the same delivery truck, the supply chain synergies alone are going to be massive.
Synergies on paper. I dug into the footnotes on their projected cost savings. They're modeling out distribution efficiencies that assume basically zero pushback from European grocers. Have you ever seen a major European retailer just roll over when a supplier consolidates? They're going to demand aggressive price cuts.
They'll fight, sure. But McCormick gets global scale instantly. They were hitting a ceiling just selling garlic powder in North America. This deal gives them emerging markets on a silver platter.
At what cost, though? They're taking on a mountain of debt to fund that $15.7 billion cash portion. I'm looking at the pro forma leverage and actively sweating.
You always sweat the leverage, Maya. But food is defensive. People buy black pepper and Hellmann's during a recession. The cash flows are incredibly stable. They can easily service the debt.
I'm not convinced the math works out quite that smoothly, and that's assuming the regulators even let this happen. You know, antitrust watchdogs are already circling the grocery aisles on this one. You can't just corner the entire global flavor market without some serious scrutiny.
I think they clear it. Spices and mayo are adjacent, not perfectly overlapping. It's not like McCormick is buying a direct spice competitor.
We'll see. The FTC has blocked deals for much less lately.
True. But if you want to see an industry where regulators are actually letting the big fish eat the little fish right now, look at Biopharma. Q1 has been an absolute feeding frenzy.
You aren't kidding. Nearly $47 billion deployed across 19 deals already. Voices.
So the analysts are officially calling Q1 2026 a massive resurgence. They're pointing straight at private equity, saying these guys are taking public companies private to quote unquote drive efficiency.
Drive efficiency. Right. Because loading a company with variable rate debt and slashing the R&D budget is peak efficiency.
Spoken like a true skeptic, but you can't deny the volume. Look at the early tape.
I don't deny the volume, Nate. I deny the narrative. PE is just bottom feeding on beaten down public valuations. The real story this quarter is Biopharma. 19 deals, $47 billion deployed. That's not efficiency. That's a pipeline panic.
Pipeline panic. I love that. But seriously, Eli Lilly dropping $7.6 billion on Centessa? Merck paying $6.74 billion for Terns Pharmaceuticals? That's aggressive even for them.
It's necessary. The patent cliffs are looming. They're out there hunting for anything in phase 2 trials with a pulse.
Speaking of things with a faint pulse, did you see the SEC filings this morning? Churchill Capital Corp 9.
Wait, really? A SPAC in 2026?
A living, breathing blank check company. They just filed paperwork for a business combination with Plus Automation.
Oh, come on. I thought we drove a wooden stake through the heart of the SPAC market 3 years ago.
The ghost of zero interest rates walks among us, Maya. You can't kill it.
I will definitely be reading those footnotes tonight to see who's actually getting paid. But speaking of things that refuse to die quietly, tomorrow we need to look at antitrust risk.
Let me guess, the grocery aisles?
Exactly. McCormick is trying to swallow Unilever's food business for $44.8 billion. The FTC is going to have an absolute field day with that market share.
We're going to map out exactly which brands might get forced into a divestiture right after this short break. Spill the tea. I thought we agreed as a society that SPACs were dead. We drove a stake through the blank check heart 3 years ago.
Churchill Capital Corp 9 begs to differ. Yes, 9. They just filed paperwork to combine with Plus Automation. The SPAC pulse is faint, but it's there.
I can't believe they're refusing to let the dream die.
To be fair, an automation target is an actual business. It's a massive step up from the vaporware and flying taxi startups we saw in the 2021 boom.
I kind of miss the flying taxis. The pitch decks were pure science fiction. But speaking of things that taste like fiction, Danone dropping $1 billion on Huel.
$1 billion for powdered tech bro food. I read the filing twice looking for a typo.
Oh, come on. It's a brilliant play. Danone needs an edge. They need a younger demographic. And Huel has an absolute cult following.
It's liquid gruel, Nate. You drink it so you don't have to stop coding or modeling spreadsheets to chew.
Hey, I lived on that stuff as an associate. It kept me alive during pitch deck revisions.
That explains so much about your palate. But the valuation is pure vibes. $1 billion for protein powder and shaker bottles.
$1 billion says the meal replacement market is a real growth vector.
I'll believe it when I see the quarterly margins. If you want to deal with real tangible assets, look at Rip City Rising. They just quietly snatched up a majority stake in the Portland Trailblazers.
Finally, that ends months of speculation about the franchise. No massive public circus, no leaked bidding wars, just a clean execution.
which is exactly how you want to do a deal. Quiet and efficient, unlike some companies deciding to swallow half the grocery store in one giant bite.
You're talking about the $44.8 billion elephant in the room.
I am. McCormick and Unilever. Get your antitrust bingo cards ready. Tomorrow's radar can save off you.
I'm telling you, the antitrust lawyers are already circling the grocery aisles for this McCormick Unilever deal. $44.8 billion of condiments and soup.
They should be circling. You can't just consolidate that much supermarket shelf space without someone in Washington having a panic attack. But tomorrow, I'm actually watching Biopharma.
Oh, come on. The Q1 Biopharma boom is played out. $47 billion deployed already. Lilly buying Centessa for $7.6 billion. Merck grabbing turns. The ink is dry.
It is not played out. They are desperately hunting for new pipelines. But fine. If you want a genuine surprise, Churchill Capital 9 just filed for a SPAC merger with Plus Automation.
Wait, really? A SPAC? I thought we drove a wooden stake through the heart of the blank check market 2 years ago.
Faint pulse, apparently. Almost as surprising as Danone dropping $1 billion on Huel. Meal replacement powder is officially big food.
Tech bro Chow goes corporate? Beautiful. Well, I'll be watching the sports ticker. Rip City Rising finally bought the Portland Trail Blazers.
We are definitely not a sports podcast. Talk to you tomorrow, Nate.